So basically, in order to be able to do the thing that makes you better long term, you have to suffer the consequences of not being good at that thing initially. Everybody at the basketball court is dribbling with their dominant hand. I come up to you as somebody who's played basketball, right? Which I'm terrible at basketball for the record. But let's just pretend that I'm fucking Kobe, right? And I come up to you and I say, yeah, Rip. I say to you, hey, you want to be good at basketball like me? You got to be able to dribble with your non-dominant hand. It is what it is. So you go to the basketball court and then you're dribbling with your non-dominant hand. And everybody's shitting on you, right? Every time you go to shoot, every time you go to dribble, you're dribbling ugly, you're bouncing off your foot. But guess what? You are paying that tax to be able to dribble with your non-dominant hand, just like in League. Everybody that you're facing, guess what they're all doing? They're all playing on lock screen. They're all playing in slow motion. They're all just letting the game happen. But if you start doing these things right away, it'll take some time, but it'll pay off later, because then you'll be able to come back to the game in a couple months and you're going to be a lot stronger at the game overall. Even if you're not like mechanically crazy, you're just going to have better fundamentals than most of the people that you play with. You're going to be more comfortable with, you know, leveling up quickly. You level up in a fight, you're going to be able to instantly level up without thinking about it. These things are going to feel more natural. So the mechanics checklist for something like a Tryndamere would be as follows. There's a couple of very important mechanics that need to happen. First things first, if you're going jungle and you're playing Tryndamere, with Master Yi, Ignite Smite's fine because Yi can gap close like that, right? He can gap close that distance. Tryndamere has a gap close, but like realistically, like Tryndamere has no way to stay on top of people once he gap closes, unless he has like Flash or Ghost. So like if I E, I get to auto somebody like once, twice. But Master E, for example, you could take Ignite because he can gap close, and then with his ult, he can just run you down.
Yeah, or Q on top of them if they...
Yes, if they stay too long.
Between them.
Yeah. So the first thing with Tryndamere is I would recommend just doing like a Ghost Smite or a Flash Smite or whatever. But the mechanical checklist, I didn't really mind the chill smite or whatever. It looked like it actually works okay.
Yeah, it's just slow him down and try and...
Yeah, it's not bad. So first things first is obviously leveling by hand. This is very simple. You just hold control and you can level by hand. Next thing, lock screen, obviously a problem. There's a couple of reasons why lock screen is a problem. I use the example of this game is an information gathering game. So when you're jungling, Phalaris and I talk about this a lot, but when you're pathing, basically as you go near an area, it should be kind of like, the way I frame it to people is it should be right now, you should be 80% mid, 20% bottom. And by that, I mean, while we're standing here, 80% of our attention should be here. 20% of our attention should be here. Reason why is because we're able to rotate to stuff sometimes.
Yep.
So as you go to, let's say, to wolves, what am I going to say?
20% or 80% mid, 20% top, because
exactly.
mid's your closest lane.
Exactly. So it'd be 20% top for the same reason. And then when we get to Gromp, you know what I'm going to say. I think you get the concept.
Yep.
Right? So because you're closer here or closer
80,
here.
20.
Yeah. Because I actually, technically, this would be more like a 50-50, technically. Okay? Technically. Because you're like right. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Once
equidistant.
You're exiting, yeah.
Yeah. So just kind of view it like that. And that's the reason that you need to be unlocked. You gave me a bunch of excuses leading into this, like, oh, fucking buttons don't work, whatever. I really don't give a shit. My whole point here is to get you to take these uncomfortable things and realize that they are gaming fundamentals. All things in the universe here, we try to do them as efficiently as possible, right? If I go to the fucking grocery store, if I need to get my groceries quickly, like I'm not going to linger around the aisles picking up everything and looking at it, right? That's a different type of grocery shopping. This is competitive grocery shopping. Okay? We need to go through the aisles, get our shit, and leave. Just like when we play League of Legends, competitively, keyword, competitively ranked, every action needs to be done to standard, which you're a military man, so you appreciate that. Everything needs to be done quickly. We can't be fucking around. Everything from the leveling to the camera to buying, all of it needs to be fast. When I buy items, I back P, Control L. I can buy whatever the hell I need, right? If I need a sunderer, I can instantly go like this. I'm done when I'm really trying hard. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything will be fast. This holds true on so many things in League. And that's, in my opinion, why this game is so difficult like it is. Because what winds up happening in League of Legends is, like, say you're doing a jungle clear or whatever. Let me give myself some, like, damage here. I normally go Gore Drinker these days. So say we're doing our Tryndamere thing and you're farming. You need to A left click. You see that little indicator? See how I'm not even doing anything with my mouse? Look at that.
Okay, so after you do A left click, it's kind of stuck on that target until it's done.
Yes. So the key with this, let me spawn minions. So you can kite this way.
Yeah.
So like there.
And then as soon as the it does the actual strike, then you're clicking to kite it back farther.
Yes. So the idea is that you A left click so that you can move. And this should be everything. Like when you farm, when you're fighting, everybody, you should be doing this.
Because then you don't have to worry about clicking them again.
Of course.
It's already locked on for you. The game is doing the hard work for you.
Yes. Now the cool thing, attack, move on cursor, this right here. Mm-hmm. When it's enabled, whoever you're clicking closest to. See that?
Yeah.
It's really nice. You can just beat people up. A lot of players, what they'll do is they'll do what you're doing. So the other thing it comes down, and we're going to talk about this too, is it comes down to mouse movement. So if I'm moving, if say I want to kite like this, because look, you see how I like have to like, if I wanted to run away, I have to like click and like, it's really junky. You see what I'm saying? I have to like, and you see, I just misclicked trying to do it because it's not easy. However, if we do it like this, see how smooth that is? And I don't have to be accurate at all.
Yeah, right through them.
Yeah, I don't have to be accurate. Yeah. So it lets you focus the mouse. And I talk about mouse movement a lot on these streams. I tell people a lot that like ideally for mouse movement with this game, when you're controlling your champion, think of it as like a target at a firing range. Okay. You ever watch pros play this game?
Yep.
So
but on occasion, yeah.
One of the things you'll notice about pros is their mouse movement is more like this. You'll see it a lot when you watch them play, right? Mm-hmm. Bad players are out here in Narnia. You see, they move like this. This is how they move. Move with a purpose and move tight to the body.
Now, so I've heard you say that before, but I haven't seen your target drawing here before. I think that makes it make a lot more sense.
Yeah, this is new. I just improv this.
Well, I would continue doing that.
Yeah, I'm
dumb crayon eaters like me, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, this is good though. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so that would be one of the things that I would take into consideration, especially when laning. I always tell people like the similar thing with dodging skill shots. I always say just kind of draw a line like this.
And just go left to right of it, yeah. That's
how you dodge skill shots, or this is a good way to do it too. The same idea. You're trying to this is called spacing. So you're trying to like space out the skill shot. Classic example here would be like, this is a moored Q or whatever, right? Or a moored E.
Needs to be, yeah, twice as big as that, but yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like takes up the whole screen. This is a moored ability. Your biggest hurdle is just going to be accepting that there are all these little micro tasks that we've got to be doing that we're doing very, very slowly. And if we can start incorporating these things, like I said, don't go into the game with the win and loss in mind. Really, don't. It's not worth it right now. What's really worth it for you is to, like you said, build the muscles, right? Build the reps.
Like anything else, have a checklist of like, these are the things I'm going to accomplish this game and get better at them and continue to get better at them until I feel like maybe not mastered, but improve the level quite a bit before I add anything else to the checklist. And it starts with the very basic stuff.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I really want to incorporate into my app from the boot camp. This is the type of stuff that is covered and that I'm wanting the app to kind of like self-check people on. But we have to build it out and all that.
Yeah.
But the premise
goes into that.
Yeah, the process here makes the most sense. I essentially what I want from people is I want them to think of, like you said, to think about these concepts. Play a game out, then go back through the game and then assess how you think you did with these types of things, right? Almost like a scorecard, right? And just be like, okay, you did this right, you did this right. Like for me, a classic example would be, my Jace struggles, right? On this cursed account that I'm getting rid of because I just can't seem to win on it. But like, look, you can see, even though I'm losing a bunch, you could actually see the progression of me trying to solve my problems with this champion. Yeah. For a while, you would notice that my farm wasn't really that good often. I would have really, really bad farming games. But over time, I kept working at it. And over time, the farm started going up higher more often. I started having like those, I started having those games with like crazy high farm that would pop up more. Yeah. Because I was deliberately trying to improve on the farming aspect of my CS. Remember that League is basically an intel gathering game. I view every time that I look at something and like absorb a piece of information, I imagine, like, I literally do it like this in my head. Like this is literally how my brain like compartmentalizes it. So like, say for example, like here's me, right? And here's a, bronze player. Maybe like a challenge, or maybe we'll say like a gold player. We'll say diamond player. And then we'll say like active, challenger, and pro player, okay? Like that. So when I play this game, I try to get as much information as possible. So throughout the course of the game, I am absorbing information throughout the course of the game. So every time that I'm gaining that information, I just give myself, like, you basically would just give yourself like a point, right? Like, I got information there, gave information there. It's like a bit of a race. Well, bronze player is like what you're doing, right? You're basically a bronze player here because you're not really gaining any information. There's like no information gain. You're ignoring tons of info. So how can you make assessments without info, right? And a gold player that plays like unlock screen or whatever, he's probably somewhere like here, maybe, right? He gets some information some of the time. And a diamond player, he gets quite a bit of info. Maybe not as much as me, but he does pretty well for himself a lot of the time. There might be some exceptions to the rule. Maybe some guy that's like crazy who's out here, who's just bad at some other things. Who knows, right? And then if you get like a top tier, like I'm talking like these guys that are like fucking like super gods, right? Like we're talking like active challenger all the time. They're constantly playing, or like a pro player. They're getting something like this often. Yeah. Right? They're the type of person you watch Faker play. He's like using his F keys and he's still gaming, right? I can't match his information gain. He's going to have better, like if I face off with someone like Faker, or I don't know who's actively using their camera properly, like off the top of my head, because I don't watch enough pros all the time. But like if you match me or like a Diamond Master player with someone like this, we'll be able to beat them sometimes, given the right teams or whatever, and giving some luck, right? But they're always going to be getting more information than us, right? They're always going to be knocking us out in terms of, well, I've got a better I've got a better ability to make assessments. I see things that you don't see. Right? So I see, you know, the classic example was there's a clip of Faker doing a damn, he was like in the middle of a fight. He wins the fight. And then he immediately, his camera, he like F keys over here to see someone leaving base. I think it was LS who was like,
and then TP top. I actually just watched that.
Oh, that was a set thing. Yeah.
And
yeah.
it helped clean up the double kill, even though it was
that
low,
is
it was a perfect TP.
Impossible camera control, for example. That would be like impossible camera control, right? I'm never making that move. It's just a ridiculously high, it's a ridiculously high APM move that I'm just not capable of making. And that was what I was trying to illustrate here, is that like, he has that option because he gained that information in the heat of the moment. That's really fucking tough to do, but that really does illustrate this concept really well. You are skipping this whole game. This is a mini game that's happening, right? There's all these little mini games that are happening. The kiting, there's another mini game, right? There's all these little things. You've got to make it so, and this just all goes back to the boot camp thing and concepts, right? You've got to figure out what the concept is, understand the concept, realize that there's a competition for each concept in the game. We're all fighting because the game, you get dealt all these different scenarios, right? If you don't kite perfectly here, you don't make it to this gang. A classic example would be, I'm glad you brought this, got me to this talking point because it's a really good talking point for the stream. So imagine a scenario where these guys are fighting. You need to level up. You need to finish your clear to get up there, right? You have to do it. And if you failed your clear up until this point, or if you failed to kite, you don't get up here fast enough. And then all of a sudden, you were, say we're on time, we make it, right? We get here, whatever, and we get the kill. But if we were slow, we turn this corner and this guy just goes up here.
Yeah,
and he gets out.
Yeah, he backed already, or like I didn't have attack move on, and I reset the gromp, and then I got to go back, and now my laner's pissed because I don't get there.
Yeah, and then he's doing this, and he calls you a fuck knuckle and says open. Like, it's inevitable that these little concepts are gonna bite you in the ass, and that's what I'm trying to say, is that start thinking about these concepts as legitimate like mini games. Like, this is like fucking WarioWare or some shit, or fucking Mario Party, right? There's all little mini games that are happening. Yeah. And we're dealt, every game has a different mini game. Like, one match, there's a Xerath on the other team, there's a Mordekaiser up here, there's a Morgana down here, there's a Nidalee in the jungle, right? And then there's an Ezreal. That's the skill shot minigame, right? Dodge the shit. Can you dodge the shit? Right? And for them, you know what the minigame is for them? Positioning minigame. Well, that too. It is hit the skill shot, but it's positioning minigame. Don't get dove, right? So if there's any idiot on the other team that has bad positioning, or like you said, never hits skill shots or whatever, they're going to get shit on. Or if there's somebody on our team that is bad at dodging skill shots, they're going to get exploited because they don't pass the minigame.
Into battle. Yep.
Split pushing, you know, there's a game where I'm split pushing against Tryndamere and I face off against some top laner. Well, it's the don't die to Tryndamere minigame and hold the tower. If he dies, and technically for him, it would be, if it's like a Shen or something, it'd be like, hit the CS minigame. Because Tryndamere is going to farm like a god. So if you don't keep up with CS, he's going to run you over. And then don't drop your towers for free. And then pay attention for ults. It's like, and all those things test different aspects. It's like camera control, your ability to CS, your ability to CS under pressure. And that's how you need to start viewing the game. Don't view it as a win-loss. View it as like a sequence of concepts that we have to be on our shit with. And then the game, like you said, the wins and losses will just happen.
They'll start coming.
Good session, dude. I appreciate you being a good sport about me yelling at you.
So if somebody comes into your coaching session expecting you to cuddle them, and
that happens a lot, though.
Correct them, then maybe they shouldn't just go with another coach that's just gonna be like, "Oh, dude, you're so great. Thanks for the money," and then they're not actually gonna get any better. So
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. This was good talk,
Yep.
though. So keep ironing out the concepts and yeah, let me know in a couple weeks how it's going.
All right, thanks, brother.
All right, peace.